Hi, this is Jamin. Welcome to another episode of The Story of Us. For a reminder, The Story of Us is the podcast that allows us to see the world through the eyes of somebody else, to see the world through the experience and the worldview of somebody else. And today I'm so thrilled to have my guest, my friend Brian from Kenya. I actually met Brian when I was doing my mission trip in Kenya with Grace Family Church. I'm so happy to have you here today. Welcome, Brian.
Yeah, so thank you very much for having me, and I'm just excited and thrilled to be able to share what I know and what I have already experienced. So I'm excited and I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Amazing. So I remember during my time in Kenya, you basically stood out because you were thinking and believing something different from the community I found you in. And my question will be, what do you believe in and what do you stand for?
Yeah, what I would say is that I've found out that people beliefs change, people evolve, and beliefs change. You find that you don't stay in the same place for a very long time. You believe one thing, and then after a certain time, you find that your belief has changed because you have seen things in a different way after a period of time. So there's something that you're told to believe this, but the more you look into it, and the more you gain other information and more information, you find that your beliefs change. So right now, what I believe in is that I do not hold on too tightly to the things that I have been told, or the things that is the information I get from someone else. I try to be open. I try to be open because I have learned that beliefs really do change. Yeah. So yeah, but the biggest thing I believe in is that I am I am I am God manifested in the physical form. That is the biggest the point at which I am at this moment, is that me and everyone else and everything else, not just human beings, but even the plants, the animals, and everything else, we are all spirit or God manifested in physical form. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
really interesting. And do you label yourself or do you categorize yourself? Because I know we human beings, we love to put us into different boxes or give us names like Christians, Muslim, Buddhists, or something. And do you put yourself in a category?
No, I do not myself in any category, because I believing that I am God manifested in physical form, it means I am infinite. It means that there is no boundary. There's no category in which I can belong. Okay, only human beings put themselves in categories, but gods, they don't do that. Okay, we do not do that, because once you put yourself in any category, you have limited yourself. Okay, once you say I am a Christian, you have limited yourself by the boundaries of Christianity. Once you say I am a Muslim, you have limited yourself by the boundaries of Islam. There are some things that you cannot do beyond those boundaries, beyond those limits. So, but when you are just open, it means you have discovered that you are limitless. You cannot be bound by by any category.
So
Yeah.
if I ask you, what are you? What are you going to give me as answer?
If I say if you ask what I am, just like I've said, I believe that I am spirit. I am an infinite being. I am God. I am consciousness manifested in the physical form. Okay, I am spirit manifested in flesh. That is what I am. And really, because I am spirit manifested, I cannot really define myself. Just like you cannot define what God is. Because I'm God manifested, I cannot really define myself. Yes, but what I can say is that I am the spirit being manifested in the physical being. I am God manifested in the flesh. Yeah, but I cannot truly define myself in human terms. You understand?
Wow, amazing. And what are some values of your faith? If I can call it your faith, since you believe in these things with all your heart.
By values, what do you mean by values?
Like principle, like what are the components of your faith? What do you stand for? What do you believe in?
What the biggest thing that I believe in is I believe in love. I believe in love because that is, in fact, that is what binds us all together. Because love means that we are all one. Love is not like an emotion. Love means we are all one. And because we are all one, that leads me to live in harmony with everyone and with everything. Okay? Rather than putting myself in the category of Christianity and Islam and Buddhist and Hindu, I put myself inside love. And when I put myself in love, I find that I am able to love everyone. I am able to accommodate everyone, whether they are Muslim or Christian or Hindu or pagan or atheist. I am able to accommodate all of them without any discrimination. So what drives me is the knowledge of our union, the knowledge of our oneness. And that oneness, that union, can be called love in human terms. Because love is the knowledge, is the recognition of my oneness with my neighbor, my oneness with my friends, my oneness with everyone else. Okay. That is why Jesus spoke. Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself. What Jesus was saying, you have to realize that your neighbor is yourself. You can only love your neighbor as yourself when you realize that your neighbor is yourself. You do not see them as separate. You do not see this person as a Christian. You do not see this person as a Muslim. You remove, even though they call themselves Christian, even though they call themselves Muslim, but I do not see them as that. I see them apart from that. I see them as myself reflected in another, in like a different form. So my value is that is love, is that oneness that binds us all, that causes us to live in peace, in harmony with all beings. Yeah.
So if I understand, basically, you think that every religion can coexist together?
Yeah, we all can coexist together once we realize that we are not different from one another. Because people form religions because they think, or maybe they think that they are different, but we can all live in harmony together because we originate from a single point. The Muslim and the Christian and the pagan and the Hindu, we all originate from the same point. Our origin is one. when we originate from
Mm.
that point and come to this place, we start forming these lines, these divisions that are not there. They are only in our mind. So we can learn to coexist, to live as one, to live in unity, in harmony, in peace. Once we throw off these divisions that we have created.
Interesting. So, what is your substance? I know that all the religion, like Christian have Bible, Muslim have the Quran, and other religion have different books as a substance or as a guidance. You who believes in love, or you who doesn't categorize yourself in any of boxes created by mankind, what is your substance? How do you learn that God inside you? Or what is your reference?
Now, first of all, I read. I can say I read many books. I read the Bible. I have read the Quran a little bit. I have read the Hindu books. I've read the Buddhist books a little. Okay, I've not read them extensively, but I've read them bits here and there. So what I'd say is that I tend to gain knowledge from different angles. I do not only concentrate on one particular book and say that this book is the one that contains the message of God, because I do not believe that there's any particular book that contains the message of God. So I try to diversify as much as I can to see the world, to see the hearts and the minds of different people. Okay, that is the first thing that I do. So I read a little bit here and there. I do not just read the Bible. I read the Buddhist books. I read the the scriptures of the Hindus and the Buddhists and just these different philosophies and religions. Also, one thing I say, I do not, the people that wrote the Bible and the people that wrote the Quran, the one that wrote the Quran and the one that wrote all these scriptures, when they were writing, where did they get their information from? I believe they got the information from within themselves. It was flowing out. Okay? And they were people just like us. God could speak to them just like God can speak to us right now. Let's say, for example, the people that wrote the Bible, the people in the Bible, they did not have the Bible, but they still wrote what we call the Bible right now. So I believe in the same thing. The same way they downloaded this information, we can download this information. Okay, because all things is within us. It is not in the Bible. The mistake we have done is we have believed and we have told people that God can only speak to you through this. God can only speak to you through this. And by that, we have limited God. We have limited the ways in which this God can communicate, in which this God can influence us, in which this God can affect our lives. Because once we say that God can only speak to you through the Bible, we have taken that God and we have just like we have created ourselves cocoons and boundaries called religion. In the same way, when I say that God can only speak to you through the Bible, I have taken this God and I've put this God in a box. So God cannot do any other thing if I don't read this Bible. So I cannot hear God if I don't read the Bible, or if I don't read the Quran, or if I don't read the scripture. So I do not believe that is the case. That is what we have told ourselves. The Bible is just like a signpost on by the side of a road that can give you a guideline, but you have to travel. You cannot take the signpost, and the signpost cannot take you there. You have to travel on your own. Okay, you have to take the
So
journey.
basically, if I understand clearly from what you're saying, you find wisdom in every single religious book.
Yes.
And you acknowledge that it's a part of truth. But you don't believe that God can only speak to you through the Bible. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yes. in every
Yes.
single religion or every single book, and you explore and you take what is good. Correct?
Yes.
My next question would be, how are you able to judge if it's good to take? Because there's so many different concepts in different religious and or religious book. What makes you to judge that this is right, this is wrong, I should take this, this is wisdom coming from God?
Okay. So in my journey, I have learned that, God is always speaking. If I use the term God, or I like to use the term spirit or consciousness or energy, just different philosophies,
Okay.
different different religions have the different name, but whatever the name you pick to use, let's use God because it's the simplest one, the most common one. So God, if you're if you're if you sometimes, like for example, you may just hear God even when you're walking. You may just hear within yourself. You may hear like a sound saying, "Take this route, don't take this one." Okay, have you ever had something like that? Or go
Yeah,
this way?
sure.
Yes. So whenever you are reading all these books, and you are always just attentive, you are within yourself, you have, let me say, like a feeling, like a prompting coming from within you. It enables you to sift through these things and just be able to pick something that is useful from all the readings that you make.
But I am
Yeah.
kind of worried about something.
Yeah.
For me, I think that what we feel or we believe comes from the preconception that we already have. You may have the
Yes.
Bible in your hand and you read
Yes.
about love and justice and everything, and you will pick it because you feel it inside you. But what about the one who is very deep into religion, who thinks that God is the God who punishes or everything? So when he reads a book or reads a religion, is he not going to pick what is convenient for what he's already believed previously? Or how
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
you really filter that is really God in you, but not your distorted worldview that you have had previously?
Yes. That one happens. People also pick
Mm.
things according to their preconceived beliefs or ideas, right?
Mhm.
But okay, it is not easy. But what I say is that one has to come to a point where they have an open mind,
Mm.
where you are able to question, because for you to learn, you have to have an open mind. You have to be someone that questions things. You do not just take things on face
Mm.
value. You don't just believe everything. You do not just take in everything. You have to be someone that is open-minded. And
Mm.
open, like I always believe, and I say that open-mindedness is the gateway of God. Open-mindedness.
Mm.
When you are in this place where your mind is open, and but when your mind is closed, people whose minds are closed, mostly religious people, very deeply religious people, their minds are closed because they took something, and they refuse to review that thing. They refuse to open their hands and just let their minds chew over it. They picked something, they were told something, and they hold on to that thing, and they never want to let go. But when you open your mind, when you come to this place where you question everything, you open your mind, and that open mind is like a gateway for God
Mm.
to speak through. You understand?
So, in a sense, while reading all these books or while exploring or questioning, you have faith that God will speak to you and you will reveal the truth amongst all these things. But first, you have to be open-minded, to acknowledge
Yes.
maybe that God can speak to you through this religion, through these resources, or through this person.
Yes. You know, the reason why I do that is because I do not believe that there is any one religion which is right. I do not believe that Christianity is right. I do not believe that Islam is right. I do not believe that Hinduism is right. I do not believe that there is any one religion that is right. Okay. What what I know is that God can communicate, can speak, can teach us through anything. All things. God can use anything to communicate to us. But I do not believe that there is any one particular way, one particular thing that God uses. That is why I'm telling you, I try to just be open-minded and explore every option. Okay, I do not believe that it is only Christianity that is the right way. What I do is I just explore, and once I explore, I just say in my heart, God, just show me something from all this that I've explored. And once your heart is open, God flows. God does not stay quiet. Okay, we do not put God in a box and insist that God, you must only speak to me through Christianity. You must only speak to me through Islam. No, just explore whatever you can explore. This world is here for us to explore. That is why it is so big, so man. That is why there are so many religions. They are there for us to explore, not just stick to one particular thing and insist that God used this particular thing. No, God is infinite. God manifests himself or itself in so many ways. So we do not insist that God has to do things any particular way. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you said belief changes. You said that you used to believe something, but now you believe something else. And I'm wondering, what was your background before? Were you in one of these boxes? Were you part of a community, or were you part of a religious group of beliefs?
Yeah. So I think most of us we come from all most of us come from all these boxes. Someone will say I was a Christian, I was a Muslim, I was this, I was that. Someone was even an atheist. They believed there was no God, and they believed that the physical world is all there is. Okay, so maybe after, so me, I was a religious person. I was a Christian. Okay, so in the beginning, I was not even a Christian. Then I became a Christian. Then I believed so many things in Christianity. I believed in heaven and hell. I believe that when we die, when we are sinners, we shall go to hell. I believe, all these things that Christians believe in. I believe that I have to give God something for God to give me something. Okay. I believe I have to go to church. I believe that the Bible is the word of God. I believed all these things. But then I started questioning things. The first thing I questioned, I remember very well, the first thing I questioned was the tithing thing, the thing that I have to give God money for God to bless me. So I remember one day I sat and I asked, how come God can create things from nothing? God created the universe from nothing. God created all these beautiful things from nothing. But now I need just a little favor from God, and I have to pay money first. Then I was like, God, this is not true. You created everything from nothing, but now I need this little favor, and you're telling me I have to give money for it. Can't you just give me something? Yeah, so I remember that is the first question. And after that, I just started questioning and questioning and questioning. And the beautiful things is when you start questioning, you just go deeper and deeper into questioning. And the deeper you go, the more you begin to realize so many lies that exist in these boxes, not just in Christianity, even in Islam. So all religions are the same. They're just clothed in different clothing. They're just wearing, but they are all the same. If you look at Islam and Christianity, it is the same thing. It is just packaged differently, but it is the same system working in all of them. So I began to question this one by one. Then I got deeper into questioning. And then the deeper I got, the more I realized that I have been believing a lie. The more I realized that the beliefs that I've been holding on to were not really helpful. They were not really true. So I moved from one belief to another. I questioned that too. And then I realized, no, it's not also correct. Then I go to another. Then until I got to the point where I am. And where I am, I cannot say is this the truth? I do not know. Even now, I'm still in this journey because it is an infinite journey, okay?
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So if I understand correctly, your turning point was when you started to question things. You looked and you say, this is not necessarily right, so I have to question this thing. And I am wondering, do you have people who have influenced you in your journey? People that you have listened to and you're just like, this resonate exactly what I believe inside me?
Okay, so mostly I read books and I listen to podcasts and from different teachers. And there are also maybe one or two teachers. But okay, do you want me to mention names?
It's absolutely up to you.
No, what I can say, I do not want to mention names, but what I can say is that when I started questioning, because I realized that God is I don't know what I can say. Okay, God is such that whenever you start seeking, it's like whatever you are seeking, the moment you start, it begins coming to you. You understand? Can you relate to what I'm saying? The moment you set out, it begins to come to you. So when I began questioning, the answers began coming. But I realized that when you are comfortable somewhere, when you're comfortable in religion, when you're comfortable in a lie, the truth doesn't come to you. But when you start questioning, the answers begin coming. So when I began questioning these things, then the teachers began appearing. The teachers that I never knew before began appearing. Yeah. So I realized that there's something that they say in I think it's in Buddhism, that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. But before you are ready, when you're just comfortable in your ignorance, or when you're comfortable in your wrong beliefs, you stay there. As long as you're comfortable in that, you will stay there. But when you get up and begin to question, then the teacher will appear. So for me, there are very many people that have influenced me. I watch and I read many books from very many different authors, the different teachers. I also listen online to different teachers and also myself. But the biggest teacher I can say is within me. That is the biggest teacher, because after I've listened to all these teachers, read all these books, I just go back and I sit and I say, I speak to the one within me and I say, just let your truth come, let your truth flow. And then it begins to sieve all these things that I have learned, that I've listened to, that I have asked for. Yeah.
So, what was your experience when you started to express a different belief than most of the people of your group? Did you feel alone at some point?
Yeah, there was at some point where I felt alone. Yeah, so when I started feeling alone at some point, and I thought that what I was doing was wrong, and I almost abandoned my this quest, this new quest. I almost abandoned it because at one point you see that you are believing contrary to almost everyone else. You're believing opposite to everyone else, and you begin to feel like you're doing something wrong. You begin to feel like it is not okay, and then you're almost giving up. So I almost went back into this mainstream thinking, this religious thinking. So, but I am grateful that I did not. So I kept going. But at what point you feel alone, then you come and realize that it is not being alone. It is not loneliness. It is being alone. And being alone is not a bad thing. Being alone enables you to learn and receive more than those who are in groups. Because when you are in groups, you are always lying to one another. When you are in these groups, you are
That's
only
interesting.
conform. Yes, when you are in these groups, you are conforming to these popular opinions. There's like the status quo. When you are in the groups, you're conforming. When you are in groups, you're believing other people's things. You know, in these groups, in these religions, it is all about believing what somebody else believes. It is about taking
conformity.
It is all about conformity. You are never able to create your own or to explore your own path, because this path, what I believe, is about exploring it on your own. It is not a group thing. It is not about conforming. That is why Paul says, do not conform to the patterns of this world. And religious people think that you do not have to sin. No, it is about, do not believe something because somebody believes it. Do not believe something because someone says it. This thing, this spiritual journey is something that flows from within you. It is not about believing that thing that that person believes. It's not about joining this group because most people are saying this thing. It is about having your experiences flow from within you, from the spirit that is inside of you. And that spirit is always speaking. The problem with us is we suppress it. We suppress it because we think, no, this voice that I'm hearing inside me is wrong because my pastor said this, my teacher said this, my group, my church, my religion says this, but this one is lying to me. So you suppress it and you conform. Yeah.
I love the fact that you're calling this a quest. You say you are on a quest towards the infinite, towards realizing the truth. And my question is, have you already found your people? Or have you found same-minded people who are on the same quest as you? People with who you can discuss, people with who you can keep going on this journey of discovery.
Yeah, I cannot really say that I have found my people. I cannot really say that because um, people who are on the path that I am on, there are very few people. They are not easy to find. There are people that they are scattered all over the world. Sometimes you find one, two people online, and then you talk and communicate for some time, and then they disappear. Also, you don't know where they went to. And in the local area where I live, I've not really found such people. They are there. I've found one, two, three people, and you talk sometimes, and then you don't know where they went to again because I don't know what happens, but I cannot really say I've found them. But what I can say is that on the internet, I've found people, like-minded people. Yeah, I've found a few that we talk sometimes and we exchange a few pleasantries and a few things here and there, but it's not like a close thing. It's just something that you share and they're gone, and you find another person and you share for some time that they're gone, and it's like that. So it's like this spiritual journey, this quest. It's like it is demanding people to just be on their own, because once you start forming something, then it becomes it starts to veer off the quest. It becomes something like religion. So I don't know. It may be that I've not found them yet, or it may be that it is meant to be like that. I cannot really explain it.
I like the fact that you're very genuine. You're speaking from a place of a seeker, someone who is always questioning, and or someone who is on a discovery journey. And that's really amazing. I know that you have already said that being alone can be like a positive thing.
Yes.
But that feeling of loneliness, sometimes is it not sad for you? In terms of community, is it not something nice to have community, people who can discuss things, who can understand you?
Yeah. So first of all, yeah, it would be nice to have people to help you, people to support you, people that you think alike with them, you think the same, you reason the same. It will be a very nice thing. And I have found people here and there, mostly on the internet. I've found a few people. So we talk sometimes, but it's not so much. And but physically, it is a little bit harder to come across those people, because it's like they're scattered all over, and it is hard to get a hold of someone. But on the part of loneliness, I don't know. Loneliness is like a human thing. We think we need people in order to be happy, in order to survive. But once you know yourself, you know what you are, you know who you are. Loneliness just it comes there sometimes, it creeps in sometimes for a little bit, but once you come back to yourself, you realize, no, I do not need someone, because the people of the world believe that they need people to be happy, they need people to survive, they need people to be joyful, they need people for this and that. That is what the people of the world but people on this journey of spirituality, in the spiritual journey, they know that they are everything. I am. You understand? I am. So, okay, I have friends. It's not like I don't have friends. I have friends. But it is not because I have friends because I need them to add any value. It is not because I need them to add something to my life. So loneliness just goes away once you know that within yourself, you are enough. Within yourself is all that you can need. So these friends, they're just like, I don't know what I call them, but they are not there to add value. They are not there to bring something that you do not have. They are just there as friends. Yeah. So loneliness is a thing that we feel because we think we are nothing without other people. But once you know that I am everything, then the loneliness is not there anymore.
Interesting. And I'm wondering, how does your faith include other faiths or other religious beliefs? Let's say you are on this quest and there are so many people around you who don't believe the same as you. How do you accommodate them? How do you include them as you're moving forward in your journey?
Yeah. So first of all, what I said before, that in love, I realized that everyone is a part of me, or I realized that, like I said, Jesus says, love your neighbor as yourself. In other words, what Jesus is saying is that your neighbor is yourself. He says, love your neighbor as yourself. You can only love your neighbor as yourself when you realize that your neighbor is yourself. Because I said, I told you that we are all the manifestation of God, which means we are all the same. We are all the money. Like when you stand on the ocean, have you ever been to the ocean?
Mm-hmm.
So when you stand on the shore of the ocean, there is the ocean before you, and there are the waves. The waves are many. There are millions and millions of waves before you. But the ocean is one. The waves are the manifestation of the manifestations of the one ocean. It does not mean that the waves are different. No, the waves, all the waves, even though there are millions of waves, it is one wave because it is one ocean manifesting as the numerous waves. The waves rises and falls back and becomes the ocean. That is what we are. It is like God is this ocean, and we are all the waves of the ocean. Which means
that is you including other religion, other faith. What
yes.
now if you feel rejected by a community or a group? How do you behave towards that rejection? Because obviously, there will be people who will not be as open-minded, people who
Yes.
are stuck in their pattern, the
Yes.
way they see or they perceive life. And when you come with a new type of belief, that can bring like a conflict inside their heart and result into rejection. How do you behave when you feel rejected by a group?
So, okay, first, I do not, okay, I used to feel rejected, but I do not feel rejected anymore. I just, I, I just know that they do not know what I know. Because if they knew what I know, they would not, they would not push me, they would not push me away. So what I do, what I react is once you are rejected, you just leave them alone. Just go. Because no matter what you do, those people will never understand where you are because they do not know what you are. Unless someone knows what you know, that is when they are able to accommodate you. Unless they know and understand it. But when they do not know it, they will always push you away. People do not like, what I've realized with people is that people do not like what they do not understand. When you do not understand something, you tend to push it away until a certain point when you will understand it. That is when now you pick it up and begin to review it, look at it again. Because when I was in religion, there are things I did not understand, there are things I rejected. But now there's things I understand that I pick up and look. So when people reject me, I do not blame them. I do not condemn or try to fight. I just know these people don't know what I know. Let me leave them alone. Maybe when, like, for example, there is a brother that I used to speak to, and he used to like rebuke me that you're lost, Brian, you're lost, and you got that, and he used to tell me I was going to go to hell. But one day, I don't know, from nowhere, he just called me and he told me, there's something you have been saying. I saw your comment somewhere on Facebook, even though I've been fighting you, but there's something, I saw your comment yesterday. Can you please explain this thing to me? Because when I read your comment, I thought something spoke to me, and in my heart, I knew you were saying the truth. Can you please explain this thing to me? And then when I explained to him, he said, I cannot believe I've not been seeing. I've been fighting you. So from that moment, that guy has been asking me a question after question. And even now, we are very good friends. And he used to fight me. So when someone rejects you, just leave them alone until at such a point, they will come and get to know what you know. Then they will call you and bring you to them. So it's not a fight. Just leave people alone when they don't understand what you understand.
Amazing. And as you say, you believe in love, you are inside love. And I believe that love doesn't force its way.
It does
Love
not. Yeah.
is patient.
Yes.
Love is kind. and love
Yes.
understand at some point. And that's amazing.
Mm.
So I want to ask Brian, what is next for you? I remember when I was in Kenya, we used to have this conversation, and then you mentioned that your heart or your desire is to create like a organization, a little community where people can come and grow together. Not a faith-based community, but a community where people can come and learn skills and grow together. And my question is, what next, or where are you with that project or journey?
Yeah. So there's two things. There's or a few things because okay, I remember. Yeah, I told you. I remember. You remember that? I don't even know. I didn't know you remember that. So I I am at that place where I'm still I'm still exploring myself.
Mm,
I'm still
mm,
on the journey of learning because we are all still learning, no matter where we are on this path.
mm,
No matter where we are still learning because this knowledge is infinite. Because it is God itself. It is like we are learning God itself, and God, as we know, is infinite because everything is a manifestation of God. So it is like we are learning God itself, and it is infinite. There is no point I can come to and say I know. So I'm at that point where I am still learning. I'm still saying I want to know as much as possible so that when I sit down with a community, I can be able to pass this message effectively using human terms. I'm using human terms so I can be able to pass this message effectively. So I'm still at that point. And secondly, there's still one hindrance here and there. So my
mm,
heart, my desire is to form this community that is not based on any particular belief, because I do not believe in any particular belief. I do not subscribe to that there's any particular belief that is the way to this. So I am thinking, and I've been thinking of this a lot ever since you left. I've been thinking of it that I want to form this community where anyone can come. It is not a church, it is not a mosque, it is not a temple. It is just a community where anyone that wants to explore this truth can come, because it is the truth that is
mm,
within all of us. This truth is inside a Christian. This truth is inside a Muslim. This truth is inside a pagan. This truth is inside the one that we call the sinner. This truth is inside the one that does not believe and the one that believes. This truth is
mm,
in all of us. It is a universal truth. That is what I'm saying. When the community I would like to form is a community that is for human beings. It is not for Christian, Muslim, or Hindu, or what. It is any human being, any
mm,
person can come there and can learn the truth about themselves, not the truth about religion, the truth about themselves. You know, most religions teach religion. Christianity teaches Christianity. Islam teaches Islam. They do not teach God. They do not reveal God. They teach their own belief system. So I would like that. And but the hindrance, there's a lot of hindrances there, because there are always hindrances. Okay, as you
mm,
know, there are always hindrances. It is not never a smooth journey. There are always hindrances, like financial hindrances and other things. But I am I am trusting God that eventually it will happen.
mm.
Yeah.
And I
Mm.
trust God for you as well. And I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to see how that type of community will come into manifestation. And I'm thrilled for you. Um, let's say somebody wants to keep in touch with you, or want to follow you, or want to have your updates. Where can they stay in touch with you, or how can they see what you are about?
Okay. So Yeah, so I post stuff on TikTok. That is the biggest platform I have right now. I have stuff on TikTok, and also you can find me on Facebook. On TikTok, I call myself the Mystic, the
Okay.
MYST Mystic, MYSTIC, and Facebook I am Brian O Slim, Brian O full stop then Slim.
Amazing. Thank you so
So
much,
first of
Brian.
all, yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
Now I'm saying you can find me on those two platforms, on TikTok and on Facebook.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. This was a very nice time, a very nice conversation. Thank you for sharing, and I've enjoyed every single bit of it. And I hope maybe having you again one of this time.
Yeah. I hope you shall have me again, and I'm also grateful. I'm so grateful for this. It was so beautiful.
Thank you, sir.